Get off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5. It's home to the Asian Oprah, number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Spreaker, you name it. I'm there because it was a dream of mine. Yes, happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And we are celebrating peace every single day, especially today. And even if we're airing a week later, it's still time for peace. And I do know that you're taking this day seriously to reflect upon the peace that you are. We are all shot from love, peace, joy, harmony, and wonder, and that's who we really are. So I hope you're celebrating that today. I'm so glad to be here on Monday, because Mondays are the days that I get to count. Today is the start of consecutive week number 664 for myself. And especially since they told me this show that doesn't talk about anything that everybody else is talking about on the headlines would last more than a year. But 12 and a half years later, I'm still here and still talking and still trying to get you to drink the Kool-Aid to be happy 88% of the time. And on Mondays, we do focus in on mental health matters. It's Mental Health Matters Monday. And so we are going to be talking about gut criticism. Criticism is something that definitely affects us, can definitely affect our mental state. And so I thought that would be a good topic to cover today. But before we get into that, y'all know that I start every single weekday morning show with a little good life habit or a Blisscipline, hashtag Blisscipline. Thank you, Big Brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith. That will help you have a good day, because instead of starting your day the normal, quote unquote, way, which many times is called MS scrolling, is what I call it, meaningless scrolling. And most of what's out there, or if you have a TV or a radio that you tune into every morning before you start brushing your teeth, you're bound to hear something or see something that either pisses you off or makes you sad, or ends up, you say, what's wrong with people? So the breakfast is taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich, which means the top of the bun, we're going to start with listing or thinking or focusing on those things that we are grateful for that are outside of ourselves. And then the bottom of the bun is things that we are grateful for inside of ourselves, otherwise known as appreciation, from Law of Attraction, Abraham Hicks. So that's what we're going to start as usual, especially on a Monday. I am grateful that I got my toilet roll earrings on, which always make me laugh. They're my COVID earrings, and I got them in a wonderful little store that I'm actually doing a little love yourself, get ready for Valentine's, get happy hour, Friday, February the 7th at Lena's Trunk Shop. And that is a place that I discovered sort of accidentally, hashtag not accidentally. And it's a wonderful place to come and shop and talk. I'll be doing book signings with 8 Ways to Happiness from wherever you are. And I'll be trying out a little of my comedy routine that I've got cooking and just have some fun. It used to be called Valentine's Day Sad Day, Single Awareness Day. I don't like that title, so I'm going to call it SC Day, which is Single Celebration Day. But that's how we're going to get ready for Valentine's. I'd love to have you join me. Just look up Lena's Trunk Shop in Long Beach. It's on Broadway Boulevard at Temple. It's a little local place, so come hang out with me and get happy. All right. I'm also grateful that my book continues to do well around the world, because happiness is something that might be a little not as easy to reach for, especially these days, especially in California with what's been happening. But I am a cheerleader for unconditional happiness, which says that no matter what you're going through, you have a birthright to be happy 88% of the time, not 100% of the time, but 88% of the time. Why? Because if you're 100% happy, you're dead. We need the contrast. And 8 is a lucky number in Chinese. I know you thought I was Swedish. So double 8 means double good fortune. And that's why I say happy 88. So I'm grateful for my Chinese roots, which are coming up, celebrating the year of the snake coming up. And we'll cover that on a show between now and then. It's next Wednesday is actual Chinese New Year, for those of you who know, the 29th of January. It's not the same day every year because of the lunar calendar that we follow. I am grateful that I get to learn what I teach. That's moving to the bottom of the bun now. What do I like about myself? I like my ability to laugh at myself and to learn, always continuously learning. That's what we do as human beings. There's no there. We can just, when we think that we got it and all is good, or we feel great, something will happen that will kind of knock us sideways. And I appreciate my ability to know that no matter what that is, I can't wait to see what good comes out of this, is my response to that. I do the bottom of the bun, which I'm actually modeling for you before you go to bed, which is the practice, instead of falling asleep or trying to fall asleep, thinking about all the things that you didn't finish or that are wrong with you, or someone's telling you what's wrong with you. And you're embroiled in any kind of conflict. It's going to be difficult to sleep. But if you are disciplined around falling asleep, listing things that you appreciate about yourself, you'll get a good night's sleep and you'll fall asleep faster. So that's why we do the bottom of the bun. And what do you like about yourself? If you're driving right now, please do not put your gratitudes and appreciations in the chat. But if you're at a computer, I would challenge you to check in with me. I see eyeballs rolling in, and just tell me what you are grateful for today and what you appreciate about yourself. I appreciate my ability to know that feelings just are. And when I'm moving through feelings that I don't like, I know that this too shall pass. And I appreciate my ability to be easier on myself and less critical. And we're going to talk about that for the topic of the day. So that's it for breakfast with Dr. Marissa. Asian Oprah giveaway for today is, because it is rainy days and Mondays always get me. Well, it's not rainy, it's sunny. I'm in California, but getting me up instead of down is hashtag UP. unlimited possibilities. So on Mondays, I give away a free audiobook copy of my number one bestseller, 8 Ways to Happiness, from wherever you are. And so if you go to my website, that is right up there, drmarissa.life, and just put in the message, or I know if you sign in today to be part of my Happy 88 tribe, that I'll send you the promo code for the audiobook. And every $20 donation also goes to my nonprofit, my 501c, 8 Ways to Happiness, which helps kids, teens, and young adults who have temporarily forgotten their birthright to happiness. And up to date, we have given away 8,800 products, services to kids all over the world. And for that, I'm truly grateful. And thank you for your support. All right, that's the end of breakfast. I hope that you continue this for the next 28 consecutive days, with or without me on the air, because it is a chance for you to start this good life habit so that you can claim your birthright. Thanks for joining me for breakfast. And now for the topic of the day. This is Everything is Awesome. It's my marker. We're about to start the topic, which is got criticism, the deconstruction of criticism. That's what I thought we would talk about today before I actually got embroiled in a conflict. So there's nothing like my life replicating the things that I decide to talk about, which is kind of ironic. I remember Dr. Tiffany for Wednesday's Doctors in the House series picked Hope right before the fires hit. So there's something what is it? Twilight Zone going on, which is a good thing. So that's what I am thinking, or that's what we're going to talk about today. Oh, Fariba. Wow. So good to see you. See your comment. I love what you're doing. Nice to see you. Long time. Fareeb is part of my Seal Beach Moms group from ages and ages and ages ago. So nice to have you. And you can hopefully you have time to weigh in on this topic, deconstructing criticism. It is something I don't know many people who walk around and say, I love criticism. Please criticize me now. Criticism. When we think of criticism, what comes to mind? Constructive criticism, brutal honesty, getting a review at work, starting with you do this, and this well, but I think of my dad, who would say a critic, the definition of a critic is a one-legged person telling someone how to run. And I love that definition. This is my dad who passed and on the other side in heaven now, but he used to joke about that. And I thought, it would be sort of funny to use my assistant Google and look up what I was thinking about when my, word association this morning on criticism. And let's see, we're going to go to this. And I think let's go to this. I put in criticism sucks. And what came up is a lot of, real, as I like to keep it real on this show. Let's see if I can move this over. Oops, I do this every time. I don't know what that is. Let's see if I turn this off. I hope I'm not cancel. Okay. Let's see. It says, I'll just read it to you right now. Criticism sucks. Okay. see if we still get this up on. Are you looking at this? Yes, but it's super small lettering. It says, unbridled criticism given without praise will also destroy relationships. It not only kills self-assurance, it kills love. Why is criticism topic? Why do people not like criticism? Why does criticism hurt me so much? Why is criticism so damaging? So these are the top themes that people ask about when the word criticism comes up. I always like to do this to see if what the pulse is around that. You have to scroll a bit until you find something, because even on LinkedIn, we've got criticism sucks, until why poetry criticism not, until here, criticism sucks, but it can be good for you. So it sounds like most people are not crazy about criticism, even though I put sucks. Let's see if I take out sucks and I just put in criticism. Let's see. The definition is the expression of disapproval of someone or something based on perceived, emphasis on perceived, faults or mistakes. And the analysis and judgments of the merits and faults of a literary or artistic work. What is the best definition? What are three types? Is criticism usually negative? What is toxic criticism? So let's click this just because I want to see what the criticism can be constructive or negative based, depending on the critic's intention, how it is presented, and how the person being criticized perceives it. Criticism can take the form of a reprimand, a correction, or simply a remark, and it can be spoken or written. All right, and then I wanted to see what this was. Why does criticism hurt me so much? Emotional vulnerability. Criticism can touch on our insecurities and vulnerabilities, making us feel exposed and sensitive, and fear of rejection. Humans have an innate need for accepting and belonging. So, yeah, that's like a lot of really good stuff to jump off of, to talk about. And let's go back here and stop sharing that. And then go back to this. All right. So we have now definitions of criticism, and I would like to sort of give my personal, because I live my life out loud, for better for worse, for the last 664 consecutive weeks. And one of the things that I love when people give me compliments is, you're so real, and it feels like you are reading my mind, or it feels like you have been spying on me. And I love that, because it just, I want to be real. I don't want to be on some pedestal. I don't want to, pretend. So I am real pretty much all the time, for better, for worse. And it also helps to be relatable. And that's important to me, because I truly do want people to know that I'm one of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma, and that's the majority. And I don't see a lot of specific. I see a lot of how to heal broken people, and how to fix someone. But it's my opinion, my BS, my belief system. If it's the majority of us who've had childhood trauma, why do we need to get fixed? There's obviously something to do, something that pain in life is going to produce, that is a special and unique talent. And that's sort of the way I approach what's happened in the past, and how we can use things that we don't like, or that hurt us, to our make it part of our superpower. So that's I didn't write this book as me as a psychologist, which I am. I'm an organizational psychologist, but it's not to tell you how to be happy. It is tips and tools based out of my own experience as someone who has had that kind of past and not great role models or experience on how to be happy, but how we can use what's happened to us to set us up for an amazing happy life 88% of the time. All right. So I don't like criticism at all. It is, I kind of even try to avoid situations that might be fraught with criticism, except I forgot that putting myself out there every single day for the past 12 and a half years, and also being part of media and part of social media and having the title of media personality and influencer, may get myself in some situations where I get hate or criticism, brutal honesty, uh, things said to me that don't feel good. And so I probably should not have done this if I really don't like criticism. But I'm learning. I'll never forget the very first time I got criticized, which in hindsight, 2020 hindsight, I've been very fortunate to not get a lot of criticism. And the first time was during the Seal Beach Salon shooting, where I wrote an article that got published in the Orange County Register, right in the front. And it someone contacted me and said, "Who do you think you are?" And I was devastated. And I called, or actually I texted, and then when I saw him, my big brother, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, I said to him, I'm crushed. And I can't believe, like, I don't know her. I don't know. What have I done to her? I didn't write about the case. I wrote about grief and the experience of grief in the library during the day of the shooting. And he looked at me and he said, "Welcome to the big leagues." And I didn't know that he gets a lot of hate as well. Not a lot, very little, but it is part of the territory. If you're going to be out in front, you're going to get people who just don't like you, and they will feel free to show their hate. And that was 2011. So we're now 2025, and it's gotten worse. I think with social media, there's somehow this unspoken, because you don't see me, you don't know who I am. I can say whatever I want, as angrily and as insultingly as possible. And those are the statements. That's the kind of toxic criticism, I think, that people are talking about when why people feel the need to express their negative opinion about things that either they know nothing about, or why would you criticize? The one that stands to mind the most is that expose, or what do you want to call it, on celebrities, beautiful celebrities, and their ugly or fat partners. And it was just like, are you kidding me? Like, why would someone, well, I understand why someone would write that up, because it is like food for people who love to express their negative opinions and their toxic criticism. And there's, unfortunately, it seems like there's a lot of people who are into that. And our society has embraced that almost. And it's sad that the way to get attention is to make fun of people, or put them down, or to ridicule them. And that's hopefully a trend that is dying. But unfortunately, especially today, it's unfortunately going to be with us for at least 4 more years. And it is our job not to change anybody else, but to change ourselves. And that would be my first Happy 88 tip around toxic criticism and mean things said, and those people who walk around saying, everybody has a right to my opinion. It's less effective if you try to hit them head on and say, don't say that. Although what you do permit, you promote. And if they're a friend of yours and you haven't said anything, it might be time this year to say, that's not funny. That's not nice. You can blame it on me. That Dr. Marissa gave us a Happy 88 challenge for the rest of the year, which is before you open your mouth and say something, ask yourself 3 questions. Is it kind? Toxic criticism is not kind. So already don't say it. Number 2, is it true? Well, it might be your opinion. I don't know how much truth there is to that. And number 3, is it necessary? And I think that's the key here. It really isn't necessary to criticize people who are in the public eye. It's just not necessary. You can compliment. And one of the things that I loved and continue to love about being a broadcaster is it gives me these opportunities to interview on the red carpet and really balance out some negative news on people who people criticize. They feel free to just cut people down. And I get like Halle Berry, John Travolta, just a tiny few of Corey Feldman, and the negative stuff that is said is just horrific. And I get to actually meet them, and 99% of the comments that are negative about people in the public, they haven't met them. They haven't interacted with them. They don't know who they are. They go off of someone's maybe TMZ or some news outlet or someone who has had one bad experience. No one's perfect. 12% of the time, you're going to have bad experiences with people. That's just the law, the rule. 88% of the time, people are who they are. And fundamentally, everyone is at their core love and connected and peace and creative and innovative. That's who we are, because we're, part of this energy called life. And we didn't, we didn't come from nowhere. Let's just put it that way. Now, some of us may have forgotten or are putting on clothes to hide that stuff, but I know fundamentally deep down, even the one being celebrated today, even anyone who you think are just pure evil, way down, we're all fundamentally great people. But 12% of the time, we are not in our best, at best. And then some people are 88% of the time at their worst. Those are my statistics. So where was I? Oh yeah. The first Happy 88 tip around criticism is ask yourself those 3 questions. Is it kind? Is it true? Is it necessary? I got that from Dr. David Simon before he died. He did a living memorial. He's the co-founder of the Chopra Center with Dr. Deepak Chopra. And I was just blessed to hear him speak before he passed from a brain tumor. And those are the words that he left with me that I tried to live every single day. Not easy, but I aspire to it. 88% of the time, I am good at it. Toxic criticism in my book has no place at all in our world. And I try to not be brutally honest. And 98% of the time, I am successful. Brutal honesty is not, it has no place. So brutal honesty is toxic criticism. I don't care if you think it's true, you just don't say it. If you really want to be honest and you think it's good for them, say it nicely, nothing brutal. Okay. So that's my challenge for you. Now, let's talk about non-toxic criticism. Let's talk about helpful criticism, or what we know as constructive criticism. And I see that we're at time for a necessary break for news, weather, and traffic here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. So we'll be right back to talk about constructive criticism. Thank you for that thumb. Somebody just gave me the finger, not that finger, but a thumbs up. We'll be right back. Please don't go away. I'll be back in 2 and 2. Chuck Woolery used to say, I say peace in and peace out. Don't go away. I'll be right back.
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy.
Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa.
That's the idea for Dr. Marissa Pei's new book called 8 Ways to Be Happy.
Many of us say, I am my own worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than I am. And my response to that is, stop it! Why are you doing that to yourself? You have to be your biggest fan, because if you can't at the end of the day say, I did a good job, who is? We don't have to constantly be angry at the things that are wrong. Why don't we choose to be happy about things that are right? We have the choice. That's our muscle. And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. AM 1050, FM 106.5, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, #1 talk in the IE this hour, and let's see, also streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course my YouTube TV channel, which houses all 1,310 of my podcast shows over the past 664 consecutive weeks. I am so delighted and grateful to say that I just checked the analytics. I've had over 324,000 views from all of the content that I keep putting out there, and hopefully you are enjoying it. You can start every morning with me here on the weekday morning show on KCAA. So plenty for you to free subscribe for. And today, the Asian Oprah giveaway is an audiobook copy of my #1 bestseller, 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are, self-help book on steroids. And that value is $20. And if you want to just get it and donate to my nonprofit, that's great. But if you'd like it for free, and I'd love to give it to you on Mondays, that's what we do because it's Mental Health Matters Mondays, then just put your email in on my website, which is right up here, and I'll know that you're wanting that, or you can put a message on there. All right. Constructive criticism. We have been talking about, I'm deconstructing criticism, the concept, and how it applies in our lives. Before the break, first half of the show, I like to keep it real We talked about toxic or really unnecessary criticism, the kind of criticism that really has no place in life because no one deserves to hear your opinion when it's so negative and you know nothing about that person, or and it's a reflection of them, not you. So that's toxic criticism. Let's look at constructive criticism. And people do ask me when they come to me for happiness coaching, how do I know something is toxic criticism or constructive criticism? And why does it still not feel good? And that's how we started with the show, with looking up criticism sucks. And when we looked it up, I think the two things, why does it hurt so bad? Why does criticism bother us so much? And one is emotional vulnerability in feeling like we are sort of insecure, right? Egomaniacs with an inferiority complex, or we like to look good on the outside and we want to impress people and we want to, be all that. And then we're hiding on the inside that voice that says you're not all that. Who do you think you are? If people knew who you really were, they wouldn't be so impressed. And so that emotional vulnerability certainly does lead to an overreaction to criticism. I think that we sort of, just react first and then think about what they said later, which usually leads to a knee-jerk reaction, as I call it. If you are responding out of not an impulse, if you're responding out of a reactive or reaction, most likely a knee-jerk reaction is going to make you end up looking like a jerk. So if you can, with constructive criticism, I mean, if it's just plain mean, you can just say, talk to the hand and walk away. And that's what I do. I delete I delete toxic criticism from any comments that come in on my social, on the show, because I just know that, that person's just not in a good place right now. And I really don't need to take anything they're saying to heart, because it's about them, not me. Hurt people hurt people. But on constructive criticism, my first honest response is to that fight or flight. I want to say, fork you. Who do you think you are? You're not that great either. I didn't ask for your criticism. Don't offer me what I haven't asked for. And then the flight one is based on hurt. Like, this is something I continue to work on. I hate saying you hurt my feelings, because it makes me feel like a wuss. I don't want to be a wuss. Also, growing up, being told you're fat, ugly, clumsy, you're not attractive to my face, and growing up in that environment, not just at home, but at school, because I looked different. Any kind of criticism sort of really stabs deeper than I think would on someone with a healthy ego, right? Someone who sort of would say, well, that's ridiculous. Even, when I was this size, well, I am this size, but, and my husband introduced me as obese to people, his friends. And when they met me, they go, you're not obese. I mean, that knowing or that truth, and would not, I would just only feel the pain of you're fat, that thing, that criticism, coming over and over again. And as a kid, I was heavy, I was overweight, and that was the truth. And, my mom used that negative Chinese negative motivation, which is, I'm going to tell you you're fat so you don't become fat, right? And it's very common actually in the culture to do that, Chinese moms, some people have said Asian moms, that's just kind of part of the culture. And it really, I hadn't healed that part of myself when I picked my husband, and I picked him because he would, you know, provide the environment that I was used to. So when I get any kind of constructive criticism, I know that the arrow goes deeper than it should. And I'll take criticism even when it's not meant for me. Somebody will shoot an arrow over there, not even, in my direction. I'll go running towards the arrow and pick it up and go, oh, I can't believe that I did this wrong and I did that wrong and I shouldn't have done this and shouldn't have done that. I'll shit on myself, and it's not pretty. And what I have, or continue, and I'll do this until I die, because it's so deeply ingrained, is to really stop and not take criticism quite as deeply as I do. And it's not easy. I'm going through it right now, and it's so easy to want to just curl up in a ball or move away to a desert island and say, fork you, I don't need you. I just, that's my honest reaction to any kind of criticism. It feels like an attack that I'm going to die from. And it's a work in process for sure. But I've learned and continue to learn that, just to sit back with whenever someone is criticizing me or angry with me, and to just sit back. And first of all, it's so important to hold me, hold me in a balanced and self-love way. First, to calm down the critic that is a perfectionist and doesn't want me to ever make any mistake. And therefore, if there's fault found, it's like, you deserve it, or look at how horrible you are. And I can go down that very easy slide. I call it the labyrinth of shiitake, of the perfectionism, or the slide, the labyrinth, where the top is stinking thinking, the second is worst case scenario, and the third at the very bottom is the effinator. So everything stems to my imperfection and how horrible I am. And I have to stop myself from going there. So when I do get criticism that is not toxic, but it is, just from someone that I know, I have to stop and ask, as I coach, and say, okay, is this something that is, have I heard this before? Because usually if 3 people have said the same thing 3 times, it might be something. Not to say that there's something wrong with me, but I am not perfect. But it might be something that is, it is just someone saying, and I really try to do this. This is not easy. I'll tell you, this is like graduate school in personal mastery. If you can ask, or if you can actually train yourself to see feedback and criticism as someone else's offering of, this is the way to connect better with me. Super not easy, because it doesn't sound like that. When criticism comes out, it really does sound like there's something wrong with you, because they're saying they don't like something about you. But if you can turn it and say, this person is saying, if you want to connect with me, don't do this or do this. And then you have the desire, you have the choice. You have the choice to say, okay, if I want to connect better with that person, then I'm going to hear what they're saying. Okay. And if I hear what they're saying in the way that it is not personal in attacking me, but it is something that is just giving me some information or feedback about what I'm doing or saying that is impacting them, then it might be easier to not knee jerk react. It might be easier to say, okay, what am I saying or doing that may be interpreted as that? I may not mean it. And my intentions almost always are good. I mean, I really do a lot of work to try that. But that doesn't mean that other people can see that. That doesn't mean that other people are going to perceive my intentions or what I'm trying to do in the way that I'm trying to do it. And this is where texting is the worst way to clarify or communicate, because you don't have no context and things can go rapidly spiraling into horrible, outcomes, because when you start trying to explain yourself, that just gets worse, because it's then there's a misinterpretation on a misinterpretation. Even on the phone, it's also possible, because communication is 53% body language, facial expression, and on the phone and in text you have no context, so you can't see what they really mean. And then on top of that, tone, pitch, and volume on text is missing. That's 40% of it. You do get that on a phone call better, but 7% is the words. And we're overreacting on what the words are. And I'm guilty of this. When someone says to me, stop it, like I take that as, the worst possible thing that someone can say, because they are like, basically, taking a stab at me or punching me in the face, when really, what are those words, right? And I'm having to learn this like real time, and I don't like it. I would much rather just say, fork you, that, our time's done, our relationship's over, and I don't need this, right? And I'm not saying that there aren't some people where that might be the best thing for you, because if you are in a toxic situation where you're getting toxic criticism all the time and it's a pattern and a habit, it might be time to close that chapter of that relationship in your book of relationships. I don't know. Okay, there's somebody agreed with that one with 2 hearts. But I know myself that I have a tendency to run, because the pain of the criticism is so strong because of my past, that it's very difficult to sit with discomfort. It's very difficult to sit with someone's anger at me, and it. It doesn't bother me when I'm by myself. I am my best friend, and it's a wonderful thing. And let me say that that's an important thing too. There's a balance. It's all about balance. There's a balance here. If you can't love yourself, like if you can't sit with yourself and be able to, this is the self-mastery graduate work, is to sit with yourself and soothe yourself first before, reaching out, bashing the other person, crying and bewailing, one more time, someone disappoints you, so there's this is graduate work. If you really want to claim your birthright for happiness 88% of the time, and if you want your happiness to be unconditional, which means no matter what the condition is, you can be happy, then understanding how to soothe yourself and understanding how to own your 88% great and your 12% when you step in it time, which may require some re-examining and looking into that criticism to see what's true and not. That's the work. That's the happy 88 blissipline, so to speak, because it's not even a tip. It's a way of, really feeling okay with not feeling okay. And I use things like, this too shall pass, or I can't wait to see what good comes out of this. What I learned yesterday and today is I don't have to fix this. In my former life, I'm a problem solver, fixer, and I'm gonna, stay up all night and write a letter to the people involved, and you say why they're wrong, why I'm right, or what went wrong, or try to control all of that. And it never works, because you cannot control a relationship. You're only one part of it, right? And to be able to sit with the discomfort and just really look at what is, what's your side of the street, what's your part in it, what is, and then something I learned from a friend of mine, Reverend Arlene Hilton, is the word carefrontation. Carefrontation is after you have asked yourself, and this is my key defining question on whether to work through a disagreement or something, conflict in a relationship, is, does the relationship matter? If the relationship doesn't matter, like if you have a confrontation with someone on the street and they cut you off and then they give you the finger, that's not something you're, to drive after them and try to whatever it is. Okay, that's dangerous, number one. And they don't matter in the whole scheme of things, which I'm going to do a show on. I originally planned to do perspective as a topic, and we'll still do it. But here's where perspective meets criticism, is in the whole scheme of life. Does this really matter? I ask this a lot to myself. Is this the hill I want to die on, is the expression, or, is it really worth the effort in addressing this? Like, is this something that's really going to matter in the entire world of my life? And if it is, address it. But most of the time, it's not. Most of the time, you don't have to beat a dead horse. Most of the time, you're never going to please everybody all the time. Most of the time, it's not something you need to especially stay up all night to address, especially try to figure it out, especially try to, have that, talk with that person. But if the relationship matters, then a carefrontation may be in order. But in my case, I want to go there and fix it. And I know that about myself. So I need to not do that. I use the serenity prayer as a tool often. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And someone very wise told me, when I asked, well, I don't know whether I should try to change this or accept this. And she said, what's your normal inclination? Like what's something you do more of, accepting or changing? Changing. So then most of the time, my thing is to accept. So my job is to just not deal right now, but not deal in a angry, fork you, I'm going to move to another country, I don't need this relationship reaction. Mine is, I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to cut myself some slack. I'm going to sit back and soothe myself. I'm going to reach out to people who know me and love me in spite of myself and get some wise counsel. But that is not easy. That is personal mastery, which is the course that I just taught at UCLA, that I definitely think that, there would be world peace if we could all understand and love ourselves first and manage and soothe ourselves before we try to love someone else. And that balance is what I'm getting, I'm getting real time practice on. And, my UPS man, my universal power source, that's what I call my God. He has a sense of humor. You pick a topic for the show and then boom, something happens to get you to practice it. But we're out of time. As usual, just love being here with y'all. Thank you for your reactions and your eyeballs. My final word on deconstructing criticism is look for the good in the suggestions and talk to the hand with anything that's toxic. That's it for today's show. Tomorrow, I have an author coming on, and for Tuesday Talent, I'm also Wednesday, Doctors in the House, the Dr. Tiffany Tate, and then Thursday is Throwback Thursday. Thank you for all the messages on enjoying my interview with Hot Lips Houlihan. I'm so glad I have these amazing shows in my vault that I can remember the wise things that they say. And Marianne from Gilligan's Island, which was the week before that, and Tony Tennille. So haven't quite picked which one, but it's going to be a great Throwback Thursday, and then Friday Straight Talk. And we have James Hawthorne back as a co-hosting on Friday. So, keep it here. It's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. I'll see you tomorrow.
Take back your life.